go. Jeez, I keep forgetting your last name.
Bolt.
Bolt. Jesus
So
Christ.
easy. It's always remember. The Boltster.
Because I know we got Pryor and everybody else.
Well,
Take it easy.
To the right.
I called Jason on Friday because I caught the snippet of Uncle Nasty saying something about the Cone Zone. And I called Jason. I said, do you got Axl's number? And he goes, no. And he was in Chicago.
Oh, good Lord.
So I called Kelly and I said, I think Axl's going to be on KVPI this
Yeah.
afternoon. He goes, no, I think he's probably just talking about his show being on Saturday. And I was like, I don't know. I think he's going to be on. And then Guy, the guy that was on the in between on the other show, he calls me and goes, yeah, Axl's on the show on KVPI right now. He goes, I don't know what station that is, but I just heard it on my work. And I'm like, so I flipped it over there and I caught like the last 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, he cut out the best part where I called Lars Ulrich an a-hole. He cut the whole thing out.
Going to black.
Can you
Going
say,
to black?
Going to black.
Cool.
Can you say
Shane Marlett directing. God, I love it.
I'm trying to get him to direct forever. Oops.
He seems like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, give us some warning.
Stand by.
There we go. Oops.
On. Oh.
I can't get that door because I'm caught. Hold on, let me. Okay. There we go. All right. Good to go. Good to go.
Good to go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woohoo!
Yeah!
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 Yeah! What's happening? Never mind. All right, what's going on? Welcome to the Cone Zone. I'm Axl Cones. We have a lot to cover as usual, so let's get to it. Tonight, I'm going to discuss a different breed of people known as pool players. Forgive me, but I have to throw my 2 cents in here. Now, before I go any further, let me just say this. I can hear my phone ringing as I speak from all you pool players just waiting for me to crack on your sport. First of all, pool is not a sport, all right? Let me throw the obvious out there to start. Second, this monologue doesn't apply to those of you who go to the... This monologue doesn't apply to those who go to the local hole, grab a house stick, suck on a few cancer sticks, throw on a few brews, and play a couple of games for fun. So breathe easy. This monologue is intended for the freaks I studied for this diatribe. And yeah, you'll know who you are. This monologue will mostly concentrate on my favorite type of pool players, the league players. League players are the people who go from pool hall to pool hall every night of the week like a circus sideshow. And yes, I did see the bearded lady and lobster boy. But I digress. I sat and watched league players for a few days as I compiled my notes for this take. During my 5 days of observations, I think I contracted lung and throat cancer from all the cigarette smoke I inhaled. Jesus Christ, pool halls make bingo parlors look like smoke-free Boulder restaurants.
No kidding.
I thought for sure I was going to have to break out the voice box after researching this topic. I saw people actually using one almost finished cigarette to light their next. Sick. Could the chain smoking be the explanation why there wasn't a full set of teeth in the entire room? I haven't seen that many missing chiclets since the grade school shoplifters class visited the mall candy store. Just a quick suggestion to pool players who resemble badly carved jack-o'-lanterns. Instead of shelling out 2 G's on a custom-made screw-on stick with a snakeskin handle and ivory shaft, how about a little work on your chompers, all right? Hell, hockey enforcers have more teeth than you do. And how ridiculous are those 2-finger gloves some of these pool dorks wear? What the hell's that about? Get back, everybody. The 2-fingered Michael Jackson geek is in the house. Look, freaks, unless you're a deformed gynecologist, lose the 2-finger glove, all right?
Ow.
Ouch. Gynecologist.
Speaking of stupid, how gay are the nimrods who carry their very own chalk on their belt loops? What, are you too good to use the house chalk? Chalk is fucking chalk, asswipes. I know the house chalk isn't as good as your imported chalk, but I'm sure you can adapt. During a pool league tournament, I made a pool player who was a former Denver Broncos cheerleader. And boy, she made sure everybody knew it, too. The only snag in her bragging attempt, she carried the orange and blue pom-poms 30 years ago. I have seen some pathetic gravy training acts in my lifetime, but if Granny Orange Crush beat that horse any deader, she'd have a bottle of glue. Close the book already. I was hoping she would share some of her Red Miller in the sack stories, but oh, screw it. I will give some kudos to league pool players. Boy, you all have some hot chicks that shoot some stick, huh? Yeah, that's sarcasm. There were a few times I couldn't tell if it was a chick or a dude. I had to watch which bathroom they went into to confirm. Now I know why most pool players hit on every woman they see. They're used to seeing Bulldog League chicks for hours on end. Just a memo for Pat pool players. Mix in some lipstick or something. For God's sakes, you're scaring the children and confusing the TV show host. There is one word I want a lot of you league pool players to look up in the dictionary. Actually, let me rephrase that. Go to the trailer and look at that big book with all the words in it and sound out the meaning to the word TIPS, okay? Oh, the hell with it. Let me just read it for you. Tip means a gift or sum of money tendered for a service performed or anticipated. Gratuity. I saw it countless times where some asshole pool player on a $2.75 tab gave their server $3 and told him to keep the rest. Boy, you better button up your shirt, your heart's going to fall out. I love the pool honk who cussed out his waitress because she gave him a plastic cup for his water. Easy there, Minnesota fats. You drank water for 6 hours, you didn't spend a dime, and you wan your waitress to death without tipping her all day. If I was your server and you cussed me out, I would have thrown that water on you, then asked, where would you like the straw, fuckhole? My favorite pool losers in the 5 days was the stereotypical pool dipshit. Along with his self-proclaimed nickname, he sported the glove, the bad mullet, the chalk dangling from his belt. He walked in carrying his little pool stick briefcase, thinking he was hot shit. I overheard him talking on his cell phone, of course. Quote, nobody's going to beat me. I'm going to win this tournament hands down. No problem. End of quote. So now I had to see this, right? Yeah, first round out. Thank you for coming. After shooting his mouth off and then being fed his own penis, how did he take losing so early? By ripping a towel dispenser off the men's bathroom wall. Isn't that nice? Like every other worthless event in this country, pool players can get their news by reading Q Times Billiard News. This is a reputable rag, I'm sure. This makes 5280 magazine look like the New Yorker.
Oh, Lord.
Apparently, we have some big BCA news this month. The 3 candidates for the 2004 BCA Hall of Fame are out. Apparently, legendary cue maker George Balabushka is on the ballot. Well, it's about goddamn time. For Christ's sake, what else does this genius of a man have to do to get into the hall? The BCA must have finally forgiven George for betting on his own sport. Oh, wait, that's another freak show. Congratulations, George. I bet literally ones of people are happy for you. As I wrap it up, one thing I've noticed about pool players, if the Pope walked into a pool hall, nobody would miss a beat. But if Jeff Gordon walked into a pool hall, pool players would resemble a group of prepubescent girls waiting outside NSYNC stadium entrance. Oh yeah, I hear the phone ringing already. Sorry I had to clown on your activity, pool players, but you left me no choice. It's not a sport, just accept it. Think of it this way. Ask yourself this question. Will I get better at this if I drink more? If the answer is yes, then there's your clue that pool is not a sport. But that's my take, but then again, what the hell do I know? Yeah. Tonight, he is a co-host to a show that I do about once a month here. We do a show called The Sports Guys with Kelly Florendo. You've seen him on the show many times. Here's another one of our co-hosts. Would you help me welcome to the Cone Zone, Mr. Jason Bolt? What's going on, brother? What's happening?
What's up?
What's going on?
What's up?
What's happening with you, my man?
Well, I tell you what, if anybody's ever seen a pool tournament, this is what always cracks me up. They got a cue to cue off, and then they got their shooting stick.
Exactly.
Now, that always makes me laugh. I'm like, well, we don't want to bend the cue stick,
Yeah.
so I can't cue off with that one. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, man, you
It's
need
ridiculous.
to get a life. Seriously.
Exactly.
Seriously. I mean, and the funny thing about it is, if anybody, I have never been in a league, but I've had friends who have been in leagues, and they like rate you by how good or bad you are.
Right.
Okay. So if you like, how do you do that? I mean, if you come in and you really suck,
Right.
but you're like a really good pool player, I mean, how can anybody tell that you're good or bad, regardless of your rating?
Right.
That
exactly.
just kills me. I mean, you could be like the best pool player in the world and like scratch as many times as you want and be like the worst rated pool player in the whole hall.
Right. I don't understand it. I never understood that activity.
But
it's not a sport.
It is not a sport. It is much like golf. If anybody says golf is a sport, obviously
You're
they
crazy.
don't play it because I play golf, but trust me,
Right.
it is not a sport.
Yeah. It's like, what is it, pool and golf and darts. They're activities.
They are not sports.
Right.
You don't have to lift weights before you go in there to make sure that
Right.
your shot's going to be
You don't,
okay.
you don't have to wear a cup before you throw a dart at the board.
Well, I don't know. I've been to a few pool
Well, yeah.
halls. Wearing a cup may
Let me
become in
scratch
handy.
But yeah, it's not a sport, so relax. All
But
right.
what is it with the pool halls and walking through a curtain? I mean, it's like the smoke is so dense.
Oh my God.
It's like you need a blow dryer just to walk through
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
It's like,
it's
holy
it's
cow.
London fog in these places.
It is amazing. And you walk out of there, you've been there like 30 seconds, you go home,
you
and
smell
it's
like a bingo ashtray.
it's like,
It's
holy
horrible.
cow, where's the troll dolls?
It is. It's horrible.
It
my
is-
God. And I researched this stuff, so I'm sitting in these pool halls for 5 days, and I get home and the smoke
It's
is
just
pouring out of
nauseating.
me, and I had to take 2 showers, wash my clothes twice to get all this stench off me.
And you're so right about the waitresses. I mean, what kind of crap is this? They go to a pool hall, they're in a league, so they've already paid their membership dues, and they
Yeah.
order like 2 drinks all night.
Yeah.
And the waitresses worked them for like 3 hours, and they
Yeah.
make them like 50 cents.
Yeah.
It's like, do you not understand that these people are working for a living?
Right.
We understand that you work at the 7-Eleven. Can't
Right.
help that. No proper advancement. I understand you're only making $4.25 an hour.
Right.
But
why piss on your waitress making $2.13 an hour?
exactly.
It's absolutely incredible.
It is amazing. But, you know, the only people that can be in a pool league are those people who don't have regular jobs. Because
Right.
you're there like till like 2 in the morning.
Right.
And there's no way that you can have a full-time regular morning job and do that job at the same time.
Well, one of the leagues I was following, it was on a Saturday afternoon. It started at like 9 in the morning.
Right.
And it went until like 2:30.
Exactly.
I mean, what the hell can you do for 16 and a half hours?
Playing pocket pool, I assume.
Oh my God, I would go absolutely out of my skull.
It is amazing. I mean, I've been in and out of watching people do this, and I was there for like an hour, and I was like, you know, I'm sure you guys were having a great time, but
This isn't for me. Yeah.
sleep seems more responsive right now than this game. So, I mean, and I like playing pool, don't get me wrong.
Oh,
but
sure. That's why I said that monologue isn't intended for, those of us who go out and just shoot a couple of games with the fellows. And
these guys bring in like 3
yeah.
racks of pool sticks. It's
Yeah.
like, they got them underneath their arm and they're walking in.
Yeah.
And they got a padlock and a key and it's
Yeah.
like, what is that, national security or something? What's going on with that?
Like I
mean-
said, they got a $3,000 stick, but 2 good teeth in their hole.
Oh,
I mean,
exactly.
what is that about?
Well,
Come on.
I mean, first of all, they don't have dental insurance, okay?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to pay for it. They're going to have to pay for it somehow. It ain't going to be playing pool.
It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. We're gonna open it up tonight. We're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff tonight. We got some time to kill. You are pissed as hell at the FCC. I want to hear your take on the FCC.
I am extremely belligerent at the FCC. I grew up Midwest, Baptist, Iowa, conservative, all of those things. And just because George Bush is not doing cocaine anymore doesn't mean that he can now legislate everything that everybody says. And really what this comes down to is this Janet Jackson faction of the halftime show. He has now got on the FCC to say, you know what, you guys need to clean up your act. And you know what? I was watching the halftime show, and I got a 5-year-old at home. And let me tell you, I was at a friend's house watching the show, and I called my wife at home. And I said, are you watching the Super Bowl? And she goes, no. I said, good, because if you would have been watching the halftime show, I would have told you to turn it. because there is no responsible adult that should have been watching that show with kids in the room. Okay, it was sponsored by MTV. Has anybody
first
not
clue right
watched
there.
MTV lately
Exactly.
knows that it's either swearing, drugs, or half nudity, which is no big deal as an adult. If you want to
Sure,
watch that,
sure.
more power to you. But if you got kids in the house and you see those, I'm telling you what, I don't want to be slanderous towards anybody who's gay, but if anybody, man, watching that halftime show didn't think all of those dancers in there that were male were not gay, were obviously not watching the same show as I was. It was quite incredible. I was like, what are those outfits? I swear to God, they were handcuffed with garters. And I was like, if my dad ever caught me doing that on stage, he would kick my ass.
Exactly. You got these guys, their cranks are hanging
It
out.
was
you got-
amazing.
I mean,
Of all the time that I wasn't offended is when I saw Janet Jackson topless. I was like, cool, at least something was heterosexual in that thing. I'm telling you what.
when we were watching the show, we were at my folks' house, and we were watching it, and I can't stand any of these, all these R&B and hip-hop and all this garbage. So I'm sitting there, I'm stomaching. I watch it just to see if anybody's doing it live.
Right.
Because I'll give somebody credit if they're doing something live. If you got to lip sync a halftime show, you suck anyway. You don't deserve to be there anyway.
Okay, Britney Spears.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
say the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet. But I'm sitting there watching, and like you say, we're watching this. I'm like, there's cranks being swung around, and there's butt cheeks flopping all over the place. These big black chick asses wiggling around. I'm thinking to myself, what channel is this?
It wasn't BET, but
Good
I was
Lord.
checking. I mean, it was. I'm serious. It was amazing, and you got to the point where you're like, all right, I thought we were watching football at some time.
Yeah.
But I'm suddenly not feeling as masculine as I was a couple minutes ago.
Well, and like I was saying to somebody else too, the NFL has such a reputable name that they don't have to go with all this halftime bull
And they
shit
don't.
to begin with. They need. Give me 5 guys in monkey suits sitting around a desk and talking about the stats. I would much rather see that.
So you have
than
seen the sports guys.
Exactly. I'm on it, for God's sake.
Exactly.
I'd much rather see that than the crap that I saw at the halftime of this year's Super
It was
Bowl.
amazing. I mean, you started off. The pregame was great too. Don't get me wrong. They're doing some astronaut thing with Aerosmith,
Yeah, I saw
walking in
that.
suits
I
or
saw
something,
that.
and I don't know what that was all about. Then we go to the country western motif with the girls all dressed in whatever they were dressed in, to the R&B halftime. I was waiting for Bon Jovi to come out on stage and somehow wrap it all up some way. I was really confused on the whole thing.
Waiting for Slayer to bring an end to the show.
Well, if Slayer would have been there, I probably would have turned it back.
Well, you're right. And I think MTV needs to not only be heavily fined, but they need to get banned altogether.
Well, and the thing about it is they said that they have to practice for the show and all of this.
Well, they say
And
that it was equipment
It
malfunction.
was it made.
And then they said, well, they didn't know anything about it. The bullshit. You knew something about it.
Come on, anybody who's seen a Rolling Stone cover magazine has seen Janet Jackson's top. I don't know what the
Sure.
big deal is here.
Yeah.
They're at every King Supers on every block.
She
had a guy with their hands on top of
Yeah.
her chest just like this.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Really totally blown out of proportion. I mean, again, it comes back to the fact is if you have kids and you're watching TV.
Oh, you're not expecting something like that either.
Well, if I'm
That's
watching the Christian Broadcasting Network and Janet Jackson takes her top off, then I'm like, okay, maybe that was a little inappropriate.
Right.
But if I'm watching the Super Bowl halftime show and it's sponsored by MTV, I'm like,
You know something's going to go down.
maybe this isn't something my 5-year-old should be watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now the FCC is just going absolutely they're on everybody's shit list.
Well-
I guess the word I'm getting now, Uncle Nessie brought this to my attention when I did his interview a few days ago. I guess there's a guy out there right now who wants to try to get me. He's after me now.
Right.
I'm like, well, bring it.
Well,
I've been on the air this is my 5th year.
And-
what are you
and
going to do to me now?
I-
I've gotten away with so much. I've had cranks swinging around in here, and I've had fake plastic tits in here. I mean, what are you going to do to me?
Well, don't they film the G-spot in this?
The G-spot's
yeah,
taped here, too,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So I figured they're somewhere in the middle
Yeah.
wash. But I think what is it like a 10 or 11 o'clock?
Me?
No, with the FCC, something is going on.
After 10.
After 10, correct? Isn't the show on after 10?
I'm on at 10 o'clock Wednesdays and 10:30 on Saturdays.
So what's the big deal?
I don't know.
So
I guess he's got a hard on to get me though.
Well, good for him, because
Yeah,
good luck
bring
finding
it.
the place.
Bring it. Yeah, exactly.
The funny thing is this last week, I guess, and I never watched this show, but NYPD Blue was on. It was, I don't know what night it's on. It's Wednesday or Thursday. They showed 2 different scenes in different time zones. The East and the West Coast got to see a backside of a male naked, and the Central and the Mountain time zones got to see a black screen with maybe a naked backside of a man. Because one was before 10 and one was after 10.
Oh, I see. Right.
So, I'm really confused on this nudity issue here, okay? It's okay to see it before 10, but it's not okay to see it after 9. I'm a little confused on this because
I guess the magic hour for kids to go to bed is 10 o'clock.
I
guess that's
so,
what they're thinking.
They didn't grow up in my house because let me tell you, when I was in school, 8 o'clock, 8:30, and I'm out.
Yeah.
And you know
We were
what?
done,
It's
too.
not to do with the fact that I need to sleep. It's because Mom and Dad just can't stand me anymore, and you need to get to bed.
Right. We had dinner at 6. We did homework until 8:30.
Exactly.
If you're not in bed, I'm kicking your ass at 9:01.
That's exactly right. So Mom
Right.
and Dad can watch the shows that they want to watch,
Right.
and not have to deal with,
10's
Barney
the
for another hour.
Granny drops off.
What's that?
Granny drops off at 10.
Oh, maybe it's
Maybe that
Granny.
could
You're
be it,
probably
too.
right. The senior citizens.
That could be it too.
See, and that's another thing that cracks me up because this is a voting year,
Uh-huh.
okay? And everybody knows in this country who votes in this country.
Yeah.
Senior citizens, because they have nothing better to do.
Right.
So they're going to have the most sway in any political agenda
Sure.
that they're going to want to do.
Sure.
So it just kills me about all of those things. And then one more thing before we
Go
move
for
on.
it. We got about 5 more minutes.
This cracks me up. This Madrid thing was an awful, horrendous. Killed some 200-300 people. And the United States is and the Spain is now pulling out of Iraq and with all the other things going on around. This is what Americans is. We're looking at things going, well, nobody can fly now, but the trains are safe. Well, now everybody's like, I don't want to cover the train anymore, and all that, and everybody hears about the metal detectors and going all this. This is what really blew my mind about the whole thing. See, now the terrorists aren't flying into the buildings and killing themselves. Now they're actually getting smart and planning stuff on the trains without them being killed. I figured that would take them like 5 to 10 more years to figure out with how far behind the times they were.
Right.
Maybe they're getting some people through college that are actually figuring this out.
You got a hell of a point there. I didn't think about it like that. That's good.
So now we're behind the times, and we have a president in charge that, well, God love him, is about as sharp as a wicker basket, and
which is wild because I still think he's going to get reelected.
I can't disagree with that. John Kerry's got the personality of floor mats.
Of a rock, yeah.
Yeah, of floor mats.
But if there's anybody's going to give him a run, it's going to be Kerry.
I really thought that Howard Dean would actually win the Democratic.
He dropped out early.
Yeah, he did.
He pussed out early.
And I really wanted Wesley Clark to go farther than he did because he was going to get the majority of my attention.
Yeah.
Because he's the commander-in-chief of the United States before he retired,
Yeah.
and he's against the Iraq War, which I am against completely for the reasons that we've gone in there and the money we're spending, and we're
Yeah.
killing our children's pensions from 3-4 generations from now.
Yeah.
And it's just killing me, the amount of money and people that are dying over there.
Yeah.
And I understand that we need democracy and all those things that they said they wanted to come over there and get it. But let's be honest, this is about one thing and about one thing only. We need cars, we got SUVs, and we got oil.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we're over there.
Yeah.
We ain't going down to Guatemala going, hey, we got to Haiti. How about Haiti? Is what, 300 miles from the U.S. shores? We ain't doing nothing about that.
Yeah.
They don't got oil.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Wow, very good. He's got a good point. You can't argue with any of that. That's awesome. All right, well, very cool. Give it up. Let's get it. Let's get it. We're gonna record on time. Yeah. If you have a headline, send it to the new email address, Axl@msn.com. I'm gonna hand them over. You gonna hang out with me?
Yeah, I'll hang out.
All right, cool. Yeah, we're going to our show. We do the Sports Guys. I only do it about once a month.
Once a
'cause
month.
I work on Saturday nights now, so we do it about once a month. I love getting in there and rapping with you guys. You and Kelly Florendo. It's
Yeah,
just, the three of us, we go crazy.
We try to tear it up a little
Oh
bit.
my God, it's crazy. All right. Axl@msn.com is the email address. Also, you can send me whatever you want at that address as well. My first email reads, 3-year-old Kinsey Harlan tests out the new parental eat your vegetables hearing aid this week. Being a parent, you'll appreciate that.
Exactly.
Okay. And this one, Dikembe Mutombo is going to pursue his modeling career at the conclusion of the NBA season. Oh, you got to get a tight shot on this one. This one will get a phone call. This is terrible. Oh, good. The residents of Richmond, Virginia remembered what February represents. A couple people got that.
Let's see it. Oh, that's good. That's
terrible?
so politically correct. It's not
I
even
know.
funny.
Why is he coming after me? I don't know.
I don't know.
Here we see me. Here we see patients in the waiting room at Denver General Hospital. Only a select few are getting these right now. All right, we got to get a tight shot on this one. This year's hot new Christmas gift idea, the stoned Chia convict.
I was going to think you're going to go Kobe Bryant on that one. Seriously. Kobe after a night of drinking.
Right. Just remember, Hung, our job turnover rate here is pretty high. And one person got that one.
Let's see it. There's a job with the future.
Right.
You guys got benefits?
I've heard of cutting out the middleman, but this is ridiculous. And nobody got that one. All
I
right.
can't see this. Did he work for UCLA?
Unemployed Quest worker Mark Montoya pauses during his demonstration on the steps of the Capitol to realize that was his last $5 to his name. Okay.
It's illegal.
It is illegal. Ron Jeremy's new shopping center opened in West Hollywood this week.
Sweet, good for him. He's branching out.
Oh.
He's branching out.
All right. Bid now on eBay item 40026142887, the Snoop Dogg endorsed tobacco pipe.
Woohoo!
They call that a head shop.
And another one. We got to get a tight shot. And finally, yeah, I live on the corner of. Oh, screw it. I'll just meet you at the restaurant.
Wood cock and kitchen dick. These guys were on crack, weren't they?
All right, I think we're out of time, man.
We didn't even get to discuss our mutual hatred passion of FedEx.
Oh, are you still with them?
Oh, yeah.
We got how many minutes we got? I'm gonna get this in. How many minutes do we have? We got 3 minutes. Oh, good. We got 3 minutes. Run it. I hate those fucking people. Run it.
It is the only place that's worse than the cult Mormon church. They all dress the same, they all talk the same, and they all act the same, and they go to the same school sponsored by FedEx. And it's like, you can't get two in the same room, because if you do, then they just multiply. But really, the scary part about it is when they're separate, they're still giving the same answers. To me, that's a very scary thing.
I was actually going to do a monologue, because I worked for FedEx for a long time. I was actually going to do a monologue on how bad that place is run.
Oh, man, when you do it, I want to be on that show,
Oh
because
my God,
I have
it is
so much.
It is so horrible. I got a bunch of my regulars come into the restaurant, and they work for FedEx, and they tell me all the time on just how terrible that company's been.
Oh, it's awful. You know, I mean, anybody who says what Brown can do for you should talk to FedEx employees, because let me tell you, their union is great, and FedEx doesn't have a union, and they are royally screwing their employees almost on a daily basis.
Sure.
And
you know what, though?
amazing.
The employees have to stay there because they don't have a choice. The unemployment rate is so bad and the economy is so bad, they've got to stay there.
You are exactly right.
They're not going to have a choice. Where else are you going to get those kind of benefits?
You are exactly right. I mean, I'm telling you, they know that anybody will line up 15 deep to get their job.
Absolutely.
And they're scared to death to walk out.
There would be 300 people to one person that would leave.
That's exactly right.
And that's why they won't go anywhere.
Exactly.
And they're stuck at the shitty dead-end job. They know there's no advancement. It's absolutely horrible.
It is.
I'm getting the cutoff signal. All right, Jason. Watch us on the Sports Night. 5 o'clock this network every Saturday night. That's the show. Good night. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Very good, man. That was good. That was good. All right. I'll tell you what. Let's go eat. Are you guys going to hang out with us? Or you have to do
No,
something?
wife's got the food on.
Oh, wife's got the food on?
Yeah.
Are you guys coming to eat with us?